Hey everyone, it's Ranger here with Maddie
Hi.
for what was supposed to be our second episode of Misty Grove, but considering the current circumstances, we felt it would be more appropriate for us to kind of step aside from what we were planning for this month to kind of talk about what's going on and just kind of touch on the situation.
Yeah, we want to try and avoid taking the spotlight in a sense, even though we do have like a relatively small following right now. We don't want to. We want the right voices to be heard, basically, with everything that's going on right now, with the protests and the Black Lives Matter movement and all the all the police brutality that is currently happening right now between the unlawful arrests and the tear gas and uh the rubber bullets and all that stuff. We both have watched so much injustices. Sorry. And so much injustices. Is that a word? Whatever happened.
Injustices, yes.
Oh, I'm actually surprised. I said a word for once, guys. Happen throughout the past week and a half since the initial protest happened when George Floyd was murdered. Um, which all of you guys are probably aware of at this point. If you guys want to watch look for the video. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, feel free to. We're not going to show it. This is more of a vlog. I mean, this is 100% more of a vlog, getting our thoughts out and putting where we stand on the whole movement out there for you guys and giving our thoughts and stuff for everyone affected by this right now.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and with that, I feel like a lot of people need to remember that it. This is like issue I think within the queer community kind of specifically because that's something that's obviously a big part of me is I keep seeing queer folk, pretty much only white queer folk, who are completely against the movement or at least against the riot portion of it. Which, if you guys aren't aware, the police are the ones who are like the ones who are initiating, if not all, the majority of the riots that are happening. They're the ones who are, before anything violent even happens, 'cause all these protests are peaceful. They're the ones tear gassing people, putting mace in people's faces, shooting rubber bullets at people for literally like no reason.
And even in a
And,
case where there's a couple protesters, they're not actually just people instigating. The
yeah.
police are far beyond what they're supposed to be doing. They're using tear gas and rubber bullets to stop what they can easily stop three people. They don't need to tear gas an entire peaceful protest to stop one or two instigators.
And I mean, even then, like, or real quick, I'll respond to that, and then I want to go back to my other point. A lot of the time, the police aren't actually stopping the people who are instigating because either it's undercover police who are instigating if it is coming from the crowd with instigations or respondents to the violence. There's like you can if you look on Twitter or whatever enough, you guys can see that like there is photographic evidence of the ones who are starting the riots from the protesters' side. Um, Being undercover police officers who are just part of the task force or whatever, and or hired people who are the ones who are starting like the looting stuff. I've seen so many videos of police officers looting buildings and breaking into businesses, and then they turn around and them and the media are blaming the protesters for it when in reality it is like the police and people who really honestly aren't probably part of the movement in the first place that are doing the looting. And if you guys really, it's a really big thing. Like you guys, like I don't know. This I guess probably isn't fully my place, but it does feel like trying to say that an object or a building that can be rebuilt or remade for purchase is more valuable than human life is kind of just it's kind of gross.
It's
It's not even
sickening.
kind of it's really sickening. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's not okay. People's lives are not more important than material objects.
Exactly.
Um, and to go back to my thing with the queer like issues is like I keep seeing queer people who are just against the movement or the riots and stuff. Which again, like I said, the police are the main ones who are starting the riots, if not the sole purpose reason that the riots are starting. Which I'm pretty like 90%, 99.9% sure they're the ones starting it in every situation that are just not supporting. the riots or the protesting is just like we wouldn't have a Pride Month about the Stonewall riots. That was the first Pride parade was, or Pride Festival, whatever you want to call Pride Month, was built on riots from people of color. And if you can't remember your history, like you really shouldn't be celebrating Pride Month, honestly. And the fact that there's just so much discrimination against people, it's already a group of people who are a minority and discriminated against. Honestly, there shouldn't be racism in general, but especially not within the queer. And everything, it's just everything going on right now is, it's just so horrible, and it's absolutely disgusting on what is happening right now. And obviously, if it's not the parent yet, Ranger and I both are fully in support of Black Lives Matter. We're trying our best to do things that we're able to do given our capabilities and whatnot, and what we have access to in our vicinity, or whatever you want to call it. I we'll have a bunch of links in the description if you guys want to help out financially. There'll be a bunch of donation links. I made a Tilted fee for my live stream. There'll be a link for that in the description. There'll be links for like the Black Lives Matter website, and also the other link we had that has a bunch of other forms and stuff on it. We'll probably have more donation links as well in the description of this video if you guys want to help out more.
And then even besides donating money, because I know there's a lot of people and supporters who can't donate money, especially with what's been going on with COVID. A lot of people are out of work and they can't spare it. I know one of the Black Lives Matters, I think they call them cards, has a lot of different things you could do. Donating, sharing, going to the protests, even just educating people. Calling out that racism when you see it, when you experience it, or experience someone talking that way or acting that way. And then there's been a lot of creators now that are creating videos on YouTube where just watch it all the way through. They're on an hour long. You watch the ads and they're donating literally all the AdSense from that video to all these various causes for Black Lives Matter. Just knowing what we know, and being, especially for those of us that are able to, use those resources, use whatever you can to help that cause. Because whatever small amount, whether it's just watching that YouTube video, whether it is donating $1, $5, $10, $100 to those causes, everything is going to help in ultimately reaching their goal, and what shouldn't even getting us to the place where we should have always been.
Everyone is created equal. It is racist and homophobic bigots and that are the reason that our world is in such a crappy position. Also, if you guys, and you guys, there's petitions. I think I honestly kind of zoned out a little bit because
yeah, that was the word I was trying to think of. That's why I'm like I was trying to think. There's something else. Petitions was it? That was the other word.
There's a bunch of petitions.
So many.
On the Black Lives Matter card too, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a link that'll be in the description. I'm pretty sure there's a petition on there. Look on Twitter, and you guys can also just share things. You know, my entire Twitter feed, or the majority of my Twitter, is just videos and photos
and information
and information about the protests, what's happening in the protests, the injustices that are happening. So, warning, if you guys were to look at my Twitter, to my personal Twitter, than my Maddie Q one, not the Masira one, we're both kind of just leaving that one where it is, because we both have larger platforms on our personal ones. There's just be careful what you watch. There are some really, really disturbing videos. I like one of the videos on is it's this black guy getting literally manhandled and then shot point blank range.
But with that said, yes, be very. A lot of videos are hard to watch. They are incredibly hard to watch. But if you're able to, please do. Yeah, because even though it's hard for us to see, people like me and Maddie and many people that are white have the privilege of never having to worry that that's going to happen to them. So if you're able to put your eyes on it and say, I see what you're doing to them, do so.
Yeah, and even if it's too hard for you to watch mentally, because we are fully aware that not everyone has the mental capacity, I got, or emotional state right now to be able to watch some of these videos. Some of them are really, really hard to watch. That at least like sharing them so more people can
Yes.
be aware of what's happening, and like share them on your Facebook, your social, share them on Twitter. Like if like sharing information is a really good way to help
Yes.
the cause right now, from my understanding, from what I've looked
Incredibly
at from
important. Yes.
people of color on Twitter, what they're saying, like they keep saying, please share the information, put stuff out there. Discord, can you not? And I do want to apologize if anything Ranger and I have said was overstepping our grounds, because
Yes.
we are not the ones affected by what's happening right now. Like, I do have my own set of issues that I get because I'm queer, but that's a completely different experience that
From that
that you
of black
experience.
individuals and the
Black individual
struggles
people,
and the
yeah.
discrimination they're facing and continue to face, and which shouldn't be a thing again.
But there shouldn't be discrimination at all, and especially against someone's skin color. Like, I just I will never understand how someone can discriminate against someone for something they cannot control, especially something like a skin tone. What that's just so stupid. It makes no sense, and it's so infuriating. But if you guys are going out in the protest as well, I just do be safe, please, guys. Look for resources. Don't try to avoid going to the protests alone, or if you are, at least have an easy way to get in contact with someone.
And
Because it
alternate
can't,
ways to get a hold of them too, and make sure
yeah,
somebody knows you went as well.
yeah, especially if you're a person of color, especially if you're a black person more specifically, like a person of color in general, but like a black person more specifically. Like there's huge targets on black people, and if you're from the police, the corrupted ass, disgusting police force that is current police force, and has been for centuries at this point. Just make sure you guys are doing what you need to, like, have water, be safe, make sure you guys cover yourself properly.
Yeah,
Don't
have your
wear
mask and
your mask, wear long sleeves, don't wear anything that makes you easily identifiable as well. Wear like plain black clothes or something, or like at least maybe a white or something, well, maybe not white, black, so you can blend in more if it's nighttime, but I'm also aware you guys don't want to overheat. So just, if everyone, just be safe, and just
or as
take
safe
care
as
of
you
yourself.
can at least.
As safe as you can be during these times, and just continue to protest, and hopefully eventually sometime soon people will finally start to listen, or we may end up having a riot or a revolution, which a lot of people seem to think that's the direction we're going.
And yeah, guys, and this is a matter that this is above everything else. This isn't about men and women or Republican or and Democrats. This is beyond all this. This is fundamentally about human rights. There's a lot of them that have been disregarded due to the faulty assumption of some sort of superiority over others because of their skin color. Regardless of what side you are on politically, regardless of what particular identities you identify with, we all need to come to the agreement that those human rights, those ones that should never be able to be trampled on, that everyone will stop trampling on them. Because everyone deserves them, everyone should have them.
I think on that note, guys, I think that's all Ranger and I have to say really on this matter, especially since it's not our voices that need to be heard right now. I want to say happy Pride Month regardless. That just remember that it may be Pride Month right now, but the voices that need to be heard are black people.
Yes.
And people of color who are getting these injustices. I hate that word. It's such a weird word for my mouth to say. But Black Lives Matter, guys, and I hope you guys have a safe time to read.
Yes. Be safe. You guys, all of you, are amazing people who deserve so much happiness in this world. So just stay safe. Keep fighting so we can get there. Bye, guys.